Mr. James Wojciechowski.
Thank you. Today, unfortunately, my speech will not be as happy and go-lucky as some of the others. So if you expected this portion of the speaking contest and on a high note, I'm sorry to say that you'll be sadly disappointed. So my interview was with Miss Kelly Andrews, who was a former U.S. Army Black Hawk pilot. And the topic of our interview was mainly dealing with the current system of affairs in the Bureau, not the Bureau, but the Department of Veteran Affairs. So to start us off, she made it a point that the system currently is in flaw because it takes far too long to process information in the department. And she would always give this one example, saying that something as simple as a name change, as when she got married, would took over a year to be officially recognized by the VA. And that's really quite unfortunate because such a long wait is an insult to our veterans. And it's almost as bad as, say, a denial to a medical claim, which I will get to later on. In the service, she was injured and was discharged, not like many other soldiers that were there at the time. But when she filed for her medical claim, she unfortunately was denied. Now, you may wonder why this is, because a serious injury, a discharge, she should receive some benefits from this, if you would think. But unfortunately, she did not. So she fought for over a year to get these benefits, having to get second opinions from outside doctors, having to argue with the VA, and eventually, she actually won this fight, getting her compensation for her injury. But she would always remind me that others were not as fortunate as she was. She had the story of this couple in Connecticut, a veteran and his spouse, who was waiting for his medical claim. He was denied initially for mental health care, and in waiting, he exhibited distinct signs of depression, alcoholism, and post-traumatic stress disorder. And he was still denied mental health care. And to nobody's surprise, he killed himself, leaving his wife to pay for the burial. His wife then applied to the VA seeking help, hoping that maybe they could pay for the burial benefits and get this done. But no, she was initially denied. She was denied her husband's burial. And she had to take out a loan in order to have this done. And in doing so, she accumulated further debt, and eventually her home was foreclosed upon because of this whole fiasco. Miss Andrews made it clear that it was a rough life having to transition back into the civilian lifestyle. She had another story of another vet, a Californian couple, a man who was in Iraq, who was blown off the roof of a shack by a mortar, injured his back, came back to the U.S. Upon recovering from his injury, he decided that he would become a family man. A very simple desire. But to his misfortune, his job with the local sheriff department was cut because he was thought to be too volatile. And so he had to settle for a job delivering pizzas. A former U.S. Army rifleman turned pizza delivery guy. His only hope of coming out of this financial hole was his medical claims. But to his misfortune, he was unable to actually get these claims processed for 18 whole months. Meaning that by the time he actually got any benefits, he was already $60,000 in debt, having paid for his medical and mortgage bills through credit. Miss Andrews always made it a point that it was unfortunate to see 600,000 backlogs. She always made it clear that it was unfortunate that these veterans had to come home to these new trials and tribulations, only to be greeted with a skill set that doesn't help them adapt to the civilian lifestyle. It was clear that veterans have their own challenges making this transition, and we are supposed to cushion it with the benefits that they are supposed to receive. They receive these benefits far too late, and despite their hard work and sacrifice, it is still insisted upon that our veterans must wait for their compensation. Well, how long must they wait? Veterans are accumulating thousands of dollars in debt. New veterans are ever so closely coming into this trap and falling to it. And there are veterans out there not only waiting for the benefits, there are veterans out there dead, still waiting for the benefits that they were guaranteed. And I was originally going to leave the speech on that note. However, I do feel the need to inform those not already acknowledged that there is some hope to this cause. Reforms have been proposed by the VA, and they have signed a contract with IBM to basically revamp their human resources system. And in doing so, they hope to decrease the amount of processing time of their claims and to actually take back these backlogs such that we can actually do our veterans justice.